Hello, welcome to my channel. Another year, another month, end of the month bot haul. Yes, hello and welcome. And before I get into the what I've got this month, I just want to say a few things about this recent influx of subscribers that I've had, thanks to the likes of Dolcar Toys and Stuff, Beer and Transformers Podcast, Collector 75 and Six Hot Changer Reviews, who have been doing these videos going on about these up and coming YouTube partner program changes that are happening on February the 20th, where YouTube are going to impose restrictions on lesser YouTubers. So basically, if you have like a minimum amount of subscribers and hours viewed on your channel every month to qualify for, you know, monetization, basically. So you need to have like a minimum of 1,000 subscribers and at least 4,000 hours viewed content on your channel every month to qualify for monetization. And yeah, these changes are going to stifle the the growth of little channels like myself and many others, and a majority of like Transformer review channels are, you know, small guys. There's a few big kahunas, you know, like Optimus and, you know, MGO and a few Adams and people like that. You know, they're really big guys, and it isn't going to affect them. But, you know, little guys like me who have under 1,000 subs, you know, we're going to struggle. But you know, Dolcar, Beer and Transformers Podcast, Graham Collector 75 and Chris and Natalie, Six Hot Changer and all in the Blur, did these videos where they went over the whys and wherefores of it, and they mentioned other channels that you should support, you know, other lesser channels that you should support, and they gave me a couple of shout outs. So thanks guys for that. And so if you're a subscriber who's recently joined my channel, thanks to, you know, recommendations from these other channels, then thank you very much. I hope you'll stick around and watch my content, because quite frankly I don't think these changes are going to make that much difference to my channel, because I've got just over 320 odd subs and I get absolutely pitiful viewing figures on the videos that I put out, and it's not going to affect me at all. I've got no intention of monetizing my channel anyway. So yeah, so if you've joined my channel, yeah, welcome for coming. Hope you're watching, and I doubt whether you'll stick around once you've seen a few of my videos, because I'm not really that good. I'm not particularly articulate, and I'm not very funny, so not particularly entertaining. Yeah, and video content, I generally put out, I don't know, 3 to 5 videos a month. Mostly reviews of these Korean bots that I like to get. That's kind of, you know, what my channel does. But I always do at least one, you know, scheduled video a month, and that's my end of month bot haul, where, you know, being a rabid collector, I like to buy things throughout the month, and then I will do a haul at the end of each month where I'll show you what I've got. And that's what this video is today. Now, don't be surprised if this video runs out to like 35 to 40 minutes. Because I tend to waffle and ramble quite a bit. Anyway, with that all done and out of the way, let's get on with it. Made a few changes. You've probably noticed that I've got a different style title card this year. I mean, I did these haul videos back in 2015, and I had a style of title card for those, and then I didn't do any for 2016, and then I came back with the haul videos in 2017, well, last year, and I decided to do things slightly differently. I think since this is a new year, this is 2018, I thought I'll change the format up just a little bit again. So I've got a new title card. I'm still going to do the musical photo gallery at the end, though. With my new crappy editing software, it does come with some music that you can put on videos. So I'm trying to use some of these musical tracks to put on the video musical galleries at the end of the video. And yeah, and something else I'm going to introduce to my haul videos this year is something I'm calling First and Worst. Basically, I'm going to show you everything I've got this year, and then I'm going to, at the end, if I remember to do it, obviously, because I'm a bit of a scatterbrain sometimes, is I will, you know, pick up my favourite thing I got and the least favourite thing I got every month. So that will be my first and worst. Another thing that I need to mention, obviously, now in previous, well, especially last year, I was generally working to a monthly budget of up to £500. I mean, sometimes I went over that, but no, my budget for buying stuff every month was £500, and that's a lot of money to shell out every month. I've decided to cut back a little bit this year, so the easiest way to cut back is just cut my budget. So I've decided to reduce my budget to up to £400 a month. So this year I'm going to stick to the budget of £400 a month. Obviously, TF Nation in August, forget that month, because I mean I usually spend around £1,000 on that month anyway. So that's the plan for this month, and obviously this is the first month of this the new order, so to speak. And I would give anything to be able to sit here and tell you that I came in under budget this month, but sadly, no. Something happened. I will explain towards the end of the video exactly what happened, but I went over budget this month. So, but anyway, let's get into things. So, first items arrived on Wednesday, the 3rd of January, and these were bits that I ordered in December. And the first chap to arrive was little Chaos on Velocitron Legends class Fast Clash. Yeah, I did a review on him. It's hardly got any views, and got about 30 odd views. It's been up for a best part of a month. He's a great little figure. Again, I went into the full set of the Titans Return clone bots, because I've got all 4 of them now. And in the review I did of this guy, obviously my favourite is Pounce. Pounce is absolutely amazing. He's a brilliant little bot. Fast Clash is okay, but he transforms into something that doesn't look like it's a Cybertronian vehicle, and it kind of looks like a Cybertronian Formula 1 car, I suppose, but it does homage the G1 quite well. So he's a brilliant little bot. So I managed to get him. But what I did do is I paid a small fortune for this guy. Got it from my mate, Mr. Animatropolis, off eBay. And what he does is he buys these box sets, these premium box sets, and he splits them up, sells the figures individually. And he's the guy I got Pounce off. I think I paid about 27 quid for Pounce, and I think I paid over 45 quid for this guy, 45 quid for a Legends figure. But that's just me all over, paying over the odds for little bots. He was a great little bot, so I got him on the 3rd. And something else that arrived on the 3rd was some comics. Now, obviously I collect the Transformers IDW comics, and I used to, what got me into the IDW was a couple of years ago. Somebody sold me a job lot of the More Than Meets the Eye and Robots in Disguise IDW comics. So I had those, and then I decided to keep going with those. And then over the years since, I've comic franchise, comic lots have come and gone, and I've been buying into them. And then Hasbro did this. IDW and Hasbro did these comic book events with. In 2016, they did the Revolution in about September, October time, where they got all the franchises and mushed them all together to do one big storyline, and that was kind of all right. But they decided to do it again in 2017 with First Strike. Now, you ended up with the First Strike, the 6 main issues. There's number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. And basically, Optimus is trying to get this council of worlds together on Cybertron, and Earth sent their representative to Cybertron. And then a load of terrorists from Earth, headed by Baron Ironblood, and they're basically a combination of sort of Venom and a few other sort of bad organisations. The October Guard and stuff like that. They went over to Cybertron, and then they caused havoc, and then they were going into the centre of the planet, and they were going to poison the core of Cybertron with this artifact that they had. And in the end, basically, the Transformers won, but at a price. But you know, it was very good, very well written, very well drawn, great story, fantastic lot of books. Now there's 6 issues in the main story, but they have these one-shots, these other comics that run in parallel, and you had like Optimus Prime and Transformers, and they were arranged in pairs. Like these two go together, and these basically followed on from the Revolutionaries storyline. So Revolutionaries storyline basically followed on to these two, and then back in November, because I didn't go for the one shots straight away. I went for the main issues, but I sort of wasn't sure whether I wanted to go for the one shots. Anyway, back in November, I got First Strike ROM and First Strike Mask. Now, it wasn't until I read them that I realised these were both part 2s of the 2 different, you know, parallel offshoots. And I read the ROM one, and it was okay, but it didn't really make much sense. But I didn't read this because I realised that this was, you know, part 2 of a 2-part storyline, so I didn't read it. And I only had 2 one-shots left to go, and because when they did the one-shots, because it was a series they did back in, well, it started in August, it ran through September and into sort of early October, the First Strike sort of event, and the one-shots didn't sell quite as well as the main issues, so they didn't print so many of them. And now that it's a couple of months past that the event happening, getting hold of the one-shots is getting really difficult, and I needed to get First Strike G.I. Joe and First Strike Micronauts. And they were like hen's teeth. There wasn't any in the UK that I could see, and the only people who were selling them were sellers in in America, and they were doing the comics for like $3 to $5, but then they were slapping like £15–20 postage on them to ship them across the pond, and it's like, what the heck? I ain't paying that. So yeah, so I was really struggling. I had my contact down at Spartown Comics, Lisa Marie, trying to, you know, with her contact with different comic vendors to try and get hold of these issues, but no, she couldn't get hold of them. And then it was just before, was it around about it was around about between Christmas and New Year, I went on eBay and just doing a random search, and I found a seller in the UK that had them. So I managed to get hold of Micronauts and G.I. Joe, and they arrived on Wednesday the 3rd. Now, I'd waited a long time to get these, and the other one-shots weren't that great, the ones that I'd read. But you know what they say about leave the best till last, right? The Micronauts is, again, it's this and this, these two go together, this one first and then that one second. So after this, Rom and the Micronauts have teamed up, and they're going after the Dire Wraiths, basically. So that's what that's all about. However, First Strike G.I. Joe. Wow. This is by far one of the best comics I have read in years. It's the best comic I've definitely read this year, but considering I got it on Wednesday the 3rd, that isn't really saying much. 3rd of January. Absolutely fantastic. Now, this is a proper comic. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is, comics, originally, the word comic comes from the word comedy or comedian. So they're supposed to be funny. And they're basically amusing drawings that make a short story. And they used to, you know, they used to be in newspapers, and then they made their own comic books and blah, blah, blah. But mostly comics were fun, you know, illustrated comedy novels or booklets that you could read for a laugh. Now, comics of modern times, they've got very high production values, amazing art, and then they've got like great writers writing stories for them, but they're getting way too serious and too dark and menacing and not really much fun. This though, the art style's not fantastic, but it really suits the style of comic this is. And basically, while Scarlet, who is the leader of G.I. Joe, is away on Cybertron dealing with Baron Ironblood and the guys that are trying to poison the planet, you've got Shipwreck, who's left in charge of G.I. Joe, and Venom are going around stealing these artifacts from museums, which have something to do with some sort of mystical power that Venom can tap into. Anyway, so they've already done one raid, so they've staked out this last museum, and as a diversion, Venom send in the Venom operatives in these tricked out vehicles, and then it's like G.I. Joe fighting against them, and the characters, the characters are just just outrageous characters and over the top action. This is a proper comic. It's hilarious. It's funny. The artwork just totally suits the storyline that's going on. It is absolutely fantastic. Now, this comic is quite rare. It's very hard to get hold of, but if you can get hold of it, if you're going to go for any of the one shots from First Strike, get hold of these two. Get hold of Mask and G.I. Joe. These two together are absolutely amazing comics. You must read them. The only minor gripe is that there's hardly any Mask in it. You've got the Venom guys are in it, but the actual Mask guys, you know, Matt Tracker and that, they're on Cybertron, so there's not really much Mask in it, but these two together, fantastic comics. Anyway, so I've ranted and raved about comics for so much. Well, not ranted and raved, but you know what I mean. Gone on about them. So let's move on. Right, Friday the 5th. Now, Mastermind Creations, Calidus, Shadow Ghost. Yeah. Now, last year, you know, you had the TFCon conventions in America, and in the second one, I think it was TFCon Charlotte. I think TFCon Toronto was the first one. Then it was TFCon Charlotte. It was TFCon Charlotte. They announced these convention exclusive figures that they were going to do, and this guy was one of them. And from what I understand, on the opening of trading on the Saturday morning, this guy sold out in like 20 minutes. He just like, boom, he was gone. And I saw the pictures of it and thought, oh, I've got to have that. Because I've got DX9's Terror. I haven't got him down in the display cases. But, you know, I had to get this because it's all about the goatee. It's all about the goatee with Shattered Glass Rodimus. You know, and he's so got it. He's got the facial hair going on. Love it. Yeah, so I never thought I was going to get one of these because I thought, well, that's it. Mastermind Creations did this convention exclusive for TFCon Charlotte. It sold out, blah, blah, blah. I ain't going to get one. But Mastermind Creation aren't stupid. They know if they've got a best-selling bot, then they do a limited production run and allow other people the chance to get hold of it. And so back in November, I looked on Kapow and bump, this guy went up on Kapow and I thought, yeah, okay, I am in for that. So I ordered him and he arrived on the Friday the 5th, and he is an absolutely splendid bot. Pretty good transformation. I watched Bisto Yeti's review, and he went on about these little clippy things on the side, which if you're not careful, you can snap the clips off. So I was very careful when I transformed it, but around there. But he's a brilliant bot, absolutely fantastic. Really, really pleased to get hold of him. And eventually, he's going to go alongside DX9's Terror in one of my spare spaces in me Detolf, and I'm going to get that that Rodimus Unicronus to go with them as well, so I'll have 3 of them. They'll look amazing. Like I said, it's all about the goatee. So yeah, really pleased to get hold of him. And then it was I went uptown to Spa-Town Comics. They have these things called preview evenings. Oh no, that wasn't a preview evening. No, it was just a normal pickups. So it's Friday afternoon. I come home from work, go uptown and buy a bunch of comics. See Lisa Marie from Spa-Town Comics, and I managed to get hold of Optimus Prime number 14, Lost Light number 12, Transformers versus Visionaries number 1, and Transformers Till All Are One, the annual, the 2017 annual. Now, Mr. Roberts has been at it again, killing off G1 characters. There's a whole host of G1 characters that get slaughtered in this issue of The Lost Lights. I ain't going to say any more than that. If you haven't read it, there is a surprise appearance of another bot, and he's the guy who does most of the killing towards the end of the comic. So yeah, all I can say is poor old Mirage. When you see what happens to Mirage, ouch. Yeah, so that happened. Then then you've got this. Now this follows on from. It's basically a spin-off of First Strike. It's what happened after the final events of First Strike, when the artifact was activated, and then all of a sudden Krieger transforms into this wizard guy, and then the power of magic is unleashed, and it's the magic of the Visionaries. So the Visionaries are now on Cybertron. They've got like a little underground city where they're hanging out, but they're not very happy about it. They want to take over the planet, but the Transformers won't let them. But it turns out that the powers of magic are very effective against Transformers. You know, their magic powered weapons can basically kill a Transformer. And another famous old school G1 character gets killed off in this issue. What is it killing off the old guys? And then the final Till All R1. I mean, this basically wraps up the whole Till All R1 comic series, which ended with issue 12. Very good, actually. It's a double thickness issue, so it's an annual, so it was more expensive. It was like twice the price. More than twice the price of the other comics, but it is well worth the read. Basically, quick gist of it: Starscream owns up to all the crimes he's done over the years, and steps down as the the chosen one goes into prison, and Windblade becomes the leader of Cybertron. You can't make it up. No, it's really good. It's a good series. I quite enjoyed Till All R1, and so that's. It's going to be interesting to see how things go forward from here, because I think this is now going to lead into Optimus Prime, because there's some shit going on in Optimus Prime. So Starscream might get out of jail free card. I don't know. We'll have to see. So that's that. Then after I went to the comic shop, I went up to the Entertainer in the town centre. And I saw something there, and yeah, I got little Power of the Primes Legends Slash for 11 quid. I saw her on the shelf, and it was like, buy! I just grabbed it off the shelf, and then I saw the price label, and it said no, Transformers Legends figures, £14, and I sort of winced at that, but I thought, well, it's Slash. She's at retail in a local shop. I'm still buying her, but as it turns out, she was only 11 quid, so that wasn't too bad. Yeah, there's been some people complaining about how light she is and how, hollow and skinny she is, but she is a fembot. She is a fembot. I quite like her. I'm not too sure about the way the Dino arms sort of like just fold up around the back of her rear end. I wish they'd have put some ball joints on them so they folded up flush with the back a bit more. But no, she's a great little bot. I really like her. Dino mode's pretty cool. I'm definitely glad I got her. So that was that. And while I was there, I picked up something else. Been meaning to get hold of one of these, but I was kind of put off by the price. Allspark Tech. Shadow Spark Optimus Prime. This is one of these Allspark Tech figures. It comes with the little cube thing, and they've been shelf warming. And these things were like 35 quid because they came with the Charger lead and the cube, and then all the other figures are like 17.99. It's like I was kind of tempted to get some of them. I was tempted to get Hound and Drift, and I see they've done a Megatron in this scale as well. The paint's nice, the moulding's decent, very simple transformation, not much articulation, but then again, it's a toy built around a gimmick. Now, one thing I will say, that I wanted to get this because I wanted to hear Peter Cullen's voice, because it's got a load of voice clips. Now, you get the cube, and you plug it in, Right, okay, do that. And then, now you're supposed to do voice. I can just get it to make noises. It doesn't do the voice clips. You see, it just makes noises. I can't get it to do the voice clips. The only way I can get it to do the voice clips is if you put it in truck mode, and then sometimes he says, "Oh, I'm Optimus Prime." Hang on. You see, I can't get it to make any voice clips. Flipping rubbish. So yeah, but I only paid £11.66 for it. So I actually got him for just a little bit more than her. So that's not too bad, but still pretty disappointed in it, to be honest. It isn't what I thought it was. So yeah, that was that. That was Friday the 5th. Moving on, Thursday the 11th. A couple of days previous, I'd been up to Sainsbury's to get some petrol and went into the supermarket, and obviously in my local Sainsbury's they've moved Argos, which used to be in a separate unit on the Shire's retail part. They've actually moved it in store at Sainsbury's, and where the toy aisle used to be in Sainsbury's, they've moved it. And I thought, well, seeing as they've got Argos in store at Sainsbury's, perhaps they've done away with the toy aisle because you can go to Argos and get your toys. But as it happens, they'd moved it deeper in the store, and when I found the toy aisle and walked down, I was looking and I saw they'd got some of the latest RID Legion figures. And I saw one figure and I thought, he looks pretty cool, but I didn't buy him right away. And then when on Thursday the 11th, I think I had to go up there for fuel again, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go for that figure. Legion Blurr. So yeah, they've got RID Legion Blurr. Now I didn't even know this thing was coming out. He's really, really neat. Typical Legion figure. It's got very limited articulation. He's got like solid arms, but you know, he's got a pretty cool transformation. Fairly straightforward. Just fold the legs up. And then there you go, you get a little sporty car. So yeah, he's really, really neat. And Natalie, if you're watching, another Blurr for the collection. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I mean, he's just like a mini version of the Warrior class, and the Warrior class figure's really neat. Obviously, lacking a few paint apps, as they are. Again, not the most articulated thing in the world, but he's a really neat little bot. And I paid £8 for it, which was a bit of a stretch, you know, a bit rough. I was kind of expecting to pay like a £5 for it, but I still bought it at that. And like I said, I'm really good at paying over the odds for little bots. So yeah, there we go. I got him. Then my KTRT bots arrived, and I've already done reviews on them. So I got me Brachiocannon from Mecha Captain Dino. He's quite big and comes with a very big gun. Makes noises. Yeah, he's got latitude, as you'd expect. He's decently articulated for what he is. bit of parts for him to get him into Dino mode and solid mode or shape mode. But, you know, he's a pretty decent figure. I have been looking at the Captain Dino figures. Most of them are very parts formery and not really interested. I mean, Tyranno Tooth is mega parts formery. I might go for Stego Tank. I don't know, but this guy is really cool. He's big, bit lightweight though. The plastic they've used on this isn't quite as heavy or as, you know, as solid as the plastic they've used in the past. So I don't know whether they're cheaping out on their figures, but still pretty decent guy, and I quite like him. And then also got Hello Carbot's Beat Run. Yeah, and I bought this as an example of what's going wrong with the Hello Carbot toy design. Why their toys are just degenerating into gimmick toys, and they don't do any decent figures anymore. They don't do any, you know, bots that transform into scale model vehicles anymore. I mean, he's a cool character in the show, but I mean, you know, he's got that stupid one-step transformation. Well, very easy transformation into his car mode. And then you go like that. It's just built around a gimmick, and I'm sure that's great for young kids, but it just, you know, turns, you know, adult collectors like me off. He's a great character in the show, but I mean, he's got no leg articulation whatsoever. He's like the Three Musketeer bots from season 2. They're the same, but yeah. So not very impressed with him, to be honest. So they all arrived on Thursday the 11th. So just getting down to the last couple of bits now. Thursday the 18th, a week later, went up to yeah. This was the Thursday the 18th was the preview evening, and they only had Optimus Prime number 15 for me. Some shit's going down in this now. It's called, was it the Falling? The subline they've got. Yeah, there's all sorts of crap going on the Prime. They're basically setting up for Power of the Primes now with this story, because I think it's not Liege Maximo. Who's the other one? Oh, one of the Primes has come back to Cybertron, and he's basically lording over everyone else, and yeah. So this is getting real, and then the last arrival that I got this month. Now, going back to 2014, part of the reason why I became a Transformers collector, well, apart from watching Graham the Collector 75 on YouTube and watching him doing his reviews in his bedroom like he used to do of all them G1 figures that he had, I also was very tempted by the up-and-coming Age of Extinction movie, and when I saw Scorn, you know, they're doing a Spinosaurus Dinobot, and I just had to get it, and that sort of, you know, kicked things off for me, and I got into Transformer collecting through that. But there was another mould that came out that I really liked the look of, and that was the Evasion Mode Optimus Prime. But I didn't want the one in the G1 colours. I wanted it in the, you know, in the movie when he's in Cade Yeager's farm, and he's just he drags this truck home and he's going to do something with it, and then it turns out to be Optimus, a sort of a laying low Optimus Prime. And when he manages to reactivate him, he sort of stands up in his shed and I'm going to kill you and all this. But it's that look of Optimus in that scene where he's all mucky and dirty and faded and rusty, and I love that look of him, the you know, the rusty mode, Evasion Mode Optimus Prime. Now, Takara did a version of the toy in, you know, the rusty patina, the rusty aesthetic, and at the time it was on an early bird pre-order deposit with Kapow for about 45 quid, and I was looking to get one, but there was some reason that at the time I passed over it. It just wasn't the right time for me to buy it. And I missed my chance because the pre-order was up for only a short time and it soon sold out. And then when it came out, those people that got them. And then when I was looking for it after that, it was always eBay scalper prices. They were asking like 60, 70, 80 quid for it, and I refused to pay that for a Voyager. Anyway, so I went for the next best thing, and from my mate Mr. Animatropolis, the same guy I got this guy from. I got this. I got the Breakout Battle Optimus Prime from the Breakout Battle set. Now this is an exclusive repaint that was only in that box set, so this is probably one of the rarest repaints of the Age of Extinction and Evasion Mode Optimus mould that you can get, and it's kind of cool. It does sort of transform into the Rusty Mode truck, but as you can see, it's got all these dark sort of dark grey legs, so it doesn't quite fit the aesthetic, and it wasn't the one I originally wanted. However, looking on back end of the month, I saw somebody was selling the other one, so I finally got him. I finally got the Rusty Mode, the proper one. Yeah, I bought this off some guy off eBay for just over 20 quid, about £22.90, or was it £20? No, £22.90 because it was £2.90 postage. It's used. It's got the gun, but missing the missile. But apart from that, you know, it's in good condition. I mean, the joints are ridiculously tight on this, but then again, the leg joints seem to be tight on my other one as well. Yeah, so this is the one I really wanted. This is the one I wanted back in 2014. I finally got hold of one at a decent price. He's a really, really cool bot. I wish they'd have put a bit more of that rusty sort of patina on the legs, because the legs do look a bit white. But apart from that, and when you put him into his truck mode, they've basically printed on the outside of the cab all the detail. They've like digitally printed it on there. It does look really cool though, and this is definitely the one that I wanted. Really, 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 really wanted this guy, and I'm glad I've got hold of him. So yeah, there was that. That was that. So yeah, really glad to get him finally. And then, like I said, okay, I came in over budget. Now, it was getting to it's about halfway through the month. I'd sort of spent most of my budget, and I was quite contented with what I'd got. And I've ordered a bunch of I've got a load of pre-ordered stuff sort of hanging in the air, and then something else cropped up that I kind of like the look of. But I had a pre-order deposit that I placed on a figure with Kapow back in December, and it was like that £1 deposit plus the postage, and they said that when we find out how much the figure is going to actually cost, then we will send you another email where you'll have to pay the balance payment on it. Now, I knew that was going to happen sometime, and the figure was kind of due to be released in January, so I was sort of, it was in the back of my head that balance payment may or may not come in, but it was getting later in the month, and it was like, it hasn't come in yet, so maybe, just maybe, it's gonna follow on to February. So then I looked on Kapow and I saw they've got that Planet X Apollo, and I've got a thing for Ultra Magnus armor set, so I've got Mevsuta and City Commander up here, and I thought, well, that's Apollo. It's basically the white Fall of Cybertron Optimus, Ultra Magnus version of Optimus Prime mold, but then they have this armor set that sort of bolts on the top and then makes it look more like a proper Magnus. And I thought, well, that actually looks pretty good. And then when I looked at the pre-order price was about, what was it? It was about 85 quid, but the full retail price was over 100 quid. It's like 105. So getting it on the early bird pre-order price, I was going to save myself quite a bit of money. So I did that. So I went ahead and bought that because it was due to come out at the back end of January. And I thought, well, that's it. I'm under budget. Bring on the end of the month. And then what was it? A couple of days before the end of the month, then I got a notification from Kapow. Oh, you've got to pay the outstanding balance on that pre-order deposit you placed in December. Whoops. So that's the reason why I've gone over budget this month. Oh dear. Yeah, so I'm a bit disappointed at that. But it's a thing, you know. It means I'm going to be getting that bot that I ordered first early doors next month. So got him to look forward to. And there's a couple of other things I've got pre-orders that I got up in the air. So next month should be pretty good. Obviously this year I'm doing things again a little bit differently. I'm going to be doing this year, which I didn't do last year, but I think I did in 2015. The NEC Toy Fairs. I'm going to be doing all the NEC Toy Fairs this year. There's one like the second weekend in February, so I've got that to look forward to next month. I usually take £100 to the NEC Toy Fair, and it's a good place to buy reasonably good place to buy Transformers, but it's usually, you know, G1 figures, so I usually get my fill of G1 figures at them events. Yeah, so there's that, and I might even do periodical toy hunts around Coventry. I used to do that back in 2015. I used to do it every month, like the back end of the month. I used to do a toy hunt around Coventry. I'm not going to do it every month. I'll probably do it every couple of months. I'll just jump in the car and go around Coventry, because obviously we've got Power of the Primes hitting the shops. So I just want to go around the, you know, Toys R Us if they're still open, and you know, Smiths, and maybe a few other places around Coventry, and see what I can find. So there is that. So that's my plans for this year. I'll be carrying on as normal, doing reviews of. Staple of my channel is reviewing stuff like this. I may do occasional videos. I like to be able to do like sort of 3 to 5 videos a month. I mean, you'll get an end of month bot haul video out of me, because I always do that. So this is the end of the video, but just before we sign off and go to the photo gallery, let's do first and worst. So, who do you think is my favourite bot, and who do you think is my least favourite bot? First, worst. So it's 2 Optimuses. This thing, very disappointed that the gimmick didn't work properly on it. So yeah, that's a load of rubbish, but I'm absolutely really tickled that I've finally got hold of the Rusty Mode Evasion Optimus Prime. So that's that. Yeah, 40 odd minutes. That's that's kind of how I roll with these haul videos. If you're still here at the end of this video, I'll be very surprised. I know I've got 1 or 2 fans of my style of doing haul videos every month. Vigadef, if you're still paying attention. But that's that. I've been TFR Wilderness. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will catch you all next time. Ta-da.